live.
What are they gonna? Are they gonna rename
Hope you
Sony
guys
Kitty?
enjoy those
That's a
materials.
good question to ask.
Seeing what you do with them. I think there's more stuff coming.
Cody, that's brilliant. Oh my
The
God.
tile, so on and so forth. For those of
that
you
is just
who are
brilliant.
still in exploration mode, continue to do so. Show us what you think of some other colors, and we'll continue to review them.
And if you would like to get more feedback, direct email me, Rosie, or Alan Lapidus.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye.
See you guys.
There you go. They're done.
All right. Can you? I got it. Unhost. Wow. And we are live. We are live. Wait for it.
Right.
Yeah. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Landmark. Wow, this is something new. I don't know if we're going to make it a regular thing or not, but I'm here with Cody, Devlin, and we've got our special guest, Loved Madly, who is going to be a new regular on Landmark Explorer. So we're excited. Man, wow, lots of stuff today. Holy cow. Even though it was a short Landmark Live, it was great to see these guys back. Been a big week. Big week indeed. So, so anyway, let's just go around the table here real quick. And Cody is the host of Landmark Weekly, and he's a regular streamer. I think everybody already knows of all of us, except for Loved Madly, who is maybe perhaps a new face in Twitch. We're so excited to have you. And Devlin, host of Landmark Nightlife, and my co-host for The Morning Brew. And Loved, we can't wait to have you in the lineup. It's going to be fun.
Don't mind me if I look a little bland-faced. I'm just still getting used to the idea of being in a crowd.
Okay, well, no worries. Well, of course, you hear her regularly on our TeamSpeak, and so I think everybody out there already knows her very well. So, wow, I want to get down to the first big thing is the name change and the new gig and everything that's going on out there with Daybreak. They didn't really address too much of it other than business as usual, or was that business as usual?
Well, they did say something a little bit that kind of struck me in a negative light. Not to get too into the negatives early, but at the very end, they said
that's
business,
okay. Let's talk Landmark, man.
Business as usual, but then they, also Dave iterated that once Landmark goes open beta, they are going to completely shift gears to EverQuest Next and focus almost exclusively on that. And he seemed to really iterate that. And I'm kind of, as a Landmarkian, I'm a little bit concerned because we still are missing some of the major core systems that I want to see that they haven't really put into that open beta complete game loop package, like the guild systems.
Oh, okay. So which guild systems are you thinking of? Because this
Well,
is we haven't really
guild
had
claims,
about.
guild permissions, just more in-depth guild systems,
more
in general.
detailed, more refined stuff. What we saw today in the update announcement was that we're getting some new materials, some stuff for the Kinos builds. No word on changing the name, so that's good.
Of the materials again.
But Devlin and I were talking just before we all got together here. So we got all these new materials, but a lot of the stuff looks familiar to me. It looks like stuff we've already got. So
The wood textures look exactly like the wood textures we already have. I mean, we did only briefly see them, but from what we saw, the wood textures looked like the wood textures we already got. The stone textures looked like the stone textures we got from the ogre stuff. And one texture specifically stood out to me. The brick texture that they showed off is exactly like the tan brick texture that we already have. I didn't see anything new. I saw nothing that was really attention-grabbing. Nothing new at all. Nothing.
Well, when we get in the game after the update is done, I look forward to seeing these new textures compared next to all the others. So we'll find out, but they look very familiar to me.
I'm just withholding any comments because I did not get a chance to actually watch the workshop show. So
All right. Well, did you catch any part of I know you've been running around all day, so...
I did catch Landmark live, so...
All right, good. Well, then you got to see the materials that they showed when they were showing the new...
Yeah, very tiny. I had it on my laptop, so...
Okay. One thing that... excuse me. One thing that interested me was the turquoise building material that they gave us. Is it a stucco?
Yes, they said it was dirt. They said it was dirt.
Okay. Well, now,
whether that stays that way might be a different matter. They've changed textures on us before.
Yeah.
On props as well, surprisingly. They've changed textures on props, like the barrels. You know, those rings used to be silver, and then they changed them to like wood and then bronze. So they could change it. I thought it was clay, like clay tile roofs. But that doesn't seem like a green material, right?
You're right. So I'm curious: is this turquoise that they gave us? Is this for the roofing on some of these builds, or is it for highlights?
Based on what we saw in the workshop show, that's what I guess they want us to use it for.
Oh, absolutely. When they colored the concept art that they did at the Kino's house, it had the green roofs. Mm-hmm. So definitely what we're going to be using. But they had that cross hatching, across the roof, and that took up the primary planes of the roof. And I would love to see that material as well.
So are they really going to lean toward that turquoise for all the roofs in Kino's? I was busy setting up our thing, so I missed part of the workshop.
It would appear so from what I've seen so far.
All right, interesting.
So they're looking for major stonework, a little highlight of wood, and turquoise roofing.
Yep, in stucco.
Interesting.
The stone base that could potentially go. It should go to about the second story. Potentially to the third, stucco above that, a little bit of wood, and then the green turquoise roof. And that seems like what they want to go with.
Is the turquoise supposed to represent like an aged metal of some sort?
I'm not sure. Maybe someone in chat could tell us what material type that green material is.
Devlin, did you have a thought on
No, no. I was just. It was a severe lack of thought. That was all.
Yes, well, he's allowed. He's been up all night, silly boy.
Are you kidding me? It's still Tuesday for me, guys. Come on.
If you guys can see on the stream here, our background image for our stream picture is straight from this morning's show. This is something that Devlin and the Nightlife crew did with props. Wow! When you get in the game, you gotta go see the club. It's cool.
Oh, really? That's in Landmark. I thought that was like some CGI thing or something. Oh, that's cool.
No, that's in Landmark. It's
very cool.
Yeah.
Nope, it was Bob Dobb, me, Loved, Katina, Pantera. There was a whole bunch of people there, and that happened, and it was like, yes.
And speaking of Bob Dobb, those new lights, when I saw those, I'm like, oh, he's going to love those. Those two sci-fi lights that they showed off.
Yeah, those are great. Those are fantastic.
Really nice.
And I did see your comment. Yes, apparently we're having the keg party now. So with the techno kegs, I was like, I can't even.
We need a techno tap for those kegs. We'll be good to go.
And then Metallica
and Metallica was there too. Yeah, everybody on the Nightlife crew was there. So
cool.
that was fun stuff.
I see Might Hammer's making the comment. Yeah, the tiny splash of brass in the Kino's builds. I did catch that comment. I don't know if it was Rosie or Jeff was talking about it.
That was at the very end that they were really talking about it. And incorporating it mainly on the interior, but in like stair railings and things like that, they said.
So I think the big news from today's Landmark Live was just some clarification on a couple things. One is it's just business as usual for them, at least for now, and they didn't really address expanding any existing development teams over there. So there's still some elements that everybody here is waiting for from from the team to come into Landmark to complete that game loop. So we just.
I think the only hint we got from Dave's is that they are extremely busy, and yesterday they had an all-company meeting. They pretty much had to tell their investors who they are and what they do. They're still figuring, the two sides are still figuring each other out. We're not going to hear anything more on that for a couple more weeks, because with new funding, new management, the Landmark teams, EverQuest teams, all the teams that are associated with who SOE Online used to be, now have to go to this management team and tell them, each individual department, what they do, what their focus is, where they want to take their dreams, and expand from that. The management team is going to look at it and go, okay, where are your weaknesses, where are your strengths, and how can we bolster you? That's going to take months, so we're only going to see little itsy bitsy snippets of it, if we're lucky to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense to me for sure. You guys have any thoughts on all this?
My only thought on the matter is exactly what I was saying from day number one. Everybody has been voicing their opinions, good or bad, about what has gone on. And my feelings on the matter started and stopped exactly at it's a name change, period, end of story. That's all it is for right now. And they confirmed that right there on the show. So that should stop everybody's worries, and everybody's trying to bolster everything else and the arguments there. It's a name change, folks. Let it go.
Yeah, and I would say, I've gone through that process in a company before where they go through and they ask you about, what do you do? Why are you here? And that's sucks. It's one of the worst things to go through. And from what I understand, a lot of them are not going through that process. And hopefully they are, because that would, of course, stifle development and slow things down a little bit. But I'm sure certain elements of the team, maybe people that aren't necessarily core components or duplicates of other areas, would go through that process. So we'll see how it turns out.
The other big news for me from the Landmark game show, Landmark Live today, is our open beta coming soon. Really, that is right around the corner.
TM, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
It's soon changed to around the corner. Anyway.
Yeah. It's the new around the corner.
Like what you said earlier, man. I mean, that is a kind of a double-edged sword right now, because I'm one of those people that's very concerned about what Landmark is going to end up being once open beta hits. Because right now it seems to be very much still just a EverQuest Next building game. And that's fine for what it is. But I want to see more Landmark-focused things, more standalone things. I want to see Landmark become its own thing, not just a testing ground for EverQuest Next. And with what they said, what they have been saying, it makes me very nervous. That's just me, though.
Well, no, that should be your takeaway from their show today, because that's pretty much what he said. He was straight up about it. Now, I think what we need to see is more people coming into Landmark, the Landmark community just getting really focused on making our demands with the things that we need for the game, so they know exactly what we'd like to see come into the game. Yeah, lightning emitters, yeah. So I think we need to let them know what our expectations are, what our hopes are, and stay really engaged. So I think because they can then take this and say, hey, this is what's happening out there in the community. There's drive, there's desire, there's want for all of this, and maybe they can expand to tackle two things at the same time. But we're still missing big parts of the game loop that hopefully, they don't have much time to get those in before going to open beta. The economy.
Now, do you think they're up against do you think they're up against the timeline, or do you think they're going to say when it's finished, then they're going to announce open beta? Or do you think open beta is set at a time when it gets wherever it's at, when it reaches that point, they're going to switch over to EverQuest Next?
If they're smart, they will say when it's done, it's done. But that's that. That's what I think. But anyway, loved what.
Give me a second to recollect that thought. I think what's going to happen is they've got most of their systems in. We don't see a lot of what they've been doing. One of the things I've noticed when I have watched the workshop show, I've watched most of them, is they constantly refer, like Rosie and Jeff Butler and some of the guests constantly refer to, oh, well, we're already playing with that on our internal servers. They just haven't released it to us. So we don't know exactly where in the timeline they've got all that stuff going. They could be testing out merchants, all the game closing stuff, like for the game loop to be closed. They could already be testing that right now. We just don't see it.
A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that we just don't know about.
Exactly. It's part of the reason why a lot of people got upset, because they couldn't actually see EverQuest being made, is because we're getting pieces of the mechanisms that are going to be used in EverQuest Next in Landmark. We're always going to be a step behind, and it's also to keep us engaged.
Well, now the reimagining of the islands for open beta sounds really, really exciting. Yes, talking about keeping engaged, I can't wait till we actually get to that step. But we really do need that game loop to get finished. We need the economy.
Yeah, well, from the people that I've talked to in game, it's ranged anywhere from 2 months to a year from now. That's their best guess.
So sometime between now and later.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, so, I mean, Dave.
But this could change with the infusion of new money. If they are getting more money thrown at them within the next 6 months, and they're able to hire more staff to do more of what they need to do internally, that would speed up the production time for what we get to test out. So yes, open beta could go from previously scheduled April to pushed forward to March, or it could go back as far as September.
He made it sound like it's going to be, that it's close at hand, as long as he doesn't spread his H1Z1 virus through the rest of the development team.
Right? That's the first thing I was thinking.
Oh my God, that poor dude. Oh, he was struggling. That's the shortest Landmark Live since they've started.
It's like 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came on like, here, stuff, yay, we're leaving now, bye.
I'm surprised they didn't just leave Terry there to, talk us to death.
I'm just sad that they didn't give Terry a can of Lysol. He could just.
Yeah, he looked so nervous sitting next to Dave, man.
Look at that, man.
And
you can see his eyes are twitching, and you can see that H1Z1
probably
thing.
like you said, he probably leapt off camera all over himself.
Well, what we didn't see happen was. We didn't see Dave actually turn, so had there been another 30 minutes, we might have actually seen him turn and bite Terry.
Possible.
I'm just saying. Oh, man. So, well, I'm excited, for one, about all the changes going on. There's uncertainty in the community. The forums have been a mess. So much of a mess that I kind of don't even want to go there. I just really go back to what Devlin said. I think it's simple. It's straight up. What Devlin said. I mean, it's business as usual, and we heard those words straight from Dave and Terry.
I realized that they said that this was a small update this week. It is in a way, and it isn't. Some of the major updates we've had have really broken the game at times. It's been a lot of fun to get through that first 24 hours before the hot fixes. I want to see what they do this time.
What are we getting? Anything really big in this update? I know we're getting new mats, some new props.
They're doing a lot of bug fixes.
And the big template thing. Wow.
I am so looking forward to that. The
template thing, the techno box and the techno barrel. There's the grading that they showed briefly, and the new materials and all the bug fixes.
And one of the major bug fixes was the arrow, moving strangely. They said they fixed that. They said they fixed it before.
We will see.
Yeah.
We will see.
Indeed.
I'm sure the builders will find out quickly, because building tools is, I think I was talking to some people about it yesterday, is one of the biggest factors in Landmark. The building tools, making sure those are down pat and solid, is really crucial to keeping people happy who are spending hours and hours and hours using those tools, because that's going to be, if they have to go through 2, 3, 4 steps to get the same results that they normally would with one step, it's just going to frustrate them.
You know, something I just saw scroll by here, a comment Mighthammer made, goes back to something we were talking about earlier, and that is, you know what? I would love to see Sony maybe pick up some people from the community, put them onto the team. If they get that extra funding due to the new acquisition.
Or Daybreak, you mean?
Daybreak, yeah, Daybreak. Sorry.
Get it right, man.
Yeah.
It'll take us a couple weeks, I'm sure.
I've run cleaner out of coffee. But I think I think there's some really talented people in the community, and I'm talking worldwide. And if Sony can find a way to
make it work,
to bring some of these people a little closer inside the veil, I think that might be a huge boon for the game itself.
Now, I see Jinsan's name being mentioned right there in chat, and I'm not saying not to, but I think what Gio's talking about is not just artists. We need to get people who are good at building, people who are good at conceptualizing, not just people who can put pen to paper, people who are good at all the way around. If they're going to do that, they need to open the floodgates for everybody who's good at something, period.
Yeah. Catavari, yeah, it's been 2 whole days. Roy, get it right. Yeah, I'll keep working on it. Well, guys, any thoughts, any stuff you got rolling around in your head that we haven't shared yet?
New person?
Yeah. Well, at Keynote, one of my biggest takeaways with the workshop specifically, which I loved, they went through all the builds. I thought they kept a good pace this time. It wasn't like getting really drawn out. But one of the major points was keep your windows smaller than your doors. So they want really kind of like porthole kind of windows, and have them be teardrops. So, kind of round or smaller at the bottom and taller at the top, like that. And have them all they're supposed to do is let in a little beam of light. They're not for like gazing out at a big scene or anything. So, and you should also, they said specifically, position your windows based on the interior. So go into the inside of your build, find out what's comfortable, put the window there, and then the outside, it can be random or mishmash, doesn't matter.
It looked like it was a good show. I've never seen them wrap so fast. I mean, they were lickety-split out the door at noon.
Apparently they had a meeting or something to do. Yeah,
they had a thing. They had something.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
busy.
That was good. Well, so the update is coming out. They're taking the servers down at 2:00 Pacific, is my understanding. So that's 5:00 Eastern. And did they give an estimate on the downtime yet?
Not that I'm aware of. Let me just check.
So we got a lot of new sci-fi props on this update, which tells me that they're trying to send out the message that, hey, we are more than just, like Devlin said, an EverQuest next building game. We're something in addition to that. And maybe that's why they released these new sci-fi props. Some of them were broken with the textures. I think they said that will be fixed. But is that enough? I mean, 2 lights, a couple bars, a box, and a barrel. Is that really enough to, looking forward into open beta specifically? Once we get to open beta, they're kind of cutting off the development in a large degree. And if we don't have the PvP game types, like to create cool battle arenas, I think George was talking about having a ball that we could pass to each other, like Hut Ball. If we don't have the tools to make fun stuff for us to do in Landmark, because quite honestly, just fighting each other isn't that engaging. People get bored of it quite quickly. But if we had the right tools to build games that people would keep people engaged in coming into Landmark, are we going to see that before open beta? And if we don't see it before open beta, are we going to see it at all?
Because are you talking about the dungeon mastering story bricks?
That's
to some degree, but more the scripting aspect of like PvP arenas, giving us more control to build entire game systems. That's kind of what allured me to the game originally. Building, having a tool set where I can build all aspects of my own game, whatever it would be, using their textures, assets, props, and all that.
If I were to answer that question as directly as I possibly could, because I don't have any previous EverQuest, I don't have any previous attachment to that. I would say that they are going to have to do that. They are marketing this game as a genre agnostic game. They have to give us more things that are not fantasy based. They're doing, like you said, they're doing it, but they're only doing really the barest minimum here. I want to see things. I mean, if we're all travelers from multiple different kinds of universes, then we have to start taking into consideration multiple different levels of technology, different ideas of buildings, different combat techniques. All this stuff has to come into play if they're really going to do what they're saying they're going to do. And right now, it's just not quite there yet.
Don't forget, we are in beta testing. That's the entire
I'm not
point
forgetting
of
that.
A lot of people do forget that. They come into this game thinking it's a fully polished game. We're testing out the mechanics for it, like the hoopla with the what was it? Tavern doors, like the shutter ones.
Right.
They got released by accident. So it tells me they already have all that stuff in their internal servers. They're just doling it out very slowly to us.
Which is probably how it's going to go once this goes into open beta and they focus on EverQuest Next. We'll start getting bits and pieces. But now,
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a whole bunch of the stuff we've been requesting all at once when it goes to open beta, so that we can focus on what we want to design, and we're not bugging them as much for that stuff. Like if they've already got the gunslinger stuff, the sci-fi stuff, all that in the background, and they give it to us all at once in open beta, which is their soft launch for Landmark.
Or charge
we're not,
for it, potentially. It's a
yeah,
free-to-play game.
Yeah, either charge or find it as loot in the world, etc., because that's the way they're moving towards it. They'll give it to us in a mass lump, but we're not going to get that right now. We get teases of it. That'll keep the people who aren't interested in EverQuest Next busy hunting, exploring, all those mechanics that they want to see used. And they can pretty much, just, okay, you've got your stuff, here's your sandbox, go have fun. We're going to focus on our original project for now, and once we've got that launched, then we'll come back and add more.
No, I think I'm almost positive we're going to get the full player economy in the closed beta before it goes to open. But guys, let's go around. Dungeon mastering, do you think we'll get that before open beta? Cody?
I think we'll...
It's
Go for it, Cody.
Yeah, no, I really don't. I mean, it's such a complex system.
Love Natalie's real name is Cody.
The thing is, there's so many aspects to that, so many systems that have to be tested and polished, that a dungeon mastery system would, in my estimation, would take at least 6 months to a year of just pure beta testing it. That's with the features already put into place, just to make sure that everything functions because of the complexity. So absolutely not. And in regards to EverQuest Next, it's like once they stop Landmark, right? And Love Madly, you were saying they're going to work on EverQuest Next, and then when they're done with that, they'll pick up Landmark. But the thing is with EverQuest Next, is that ever going to be finished? And it's an MMO. I mean, that could be 3-4 year project potentially. My speculation. So I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned what is going to happen to Landmark and what is the future for Landmark? Will it be simply, the EverQuest Next creator? I think that's my biggest question right now.
Loved? About game
I think
mastering?
for the game mastering, I think they've already been testing it, and we've been testing it without knowing it. When you look at when they first brought in the mobs, the AI, they've already gone from 0 to second version now. They're still a little slow, but they're getting better. They're fixing the bugs as they go along. They're becoming more intelligent. As they figure out how this works with us, all they have to do is create an interface that we can use. So we're already testing out some of the mechanics for dungeon mastering. We just don't get to see the hand-on coding because they still have to create that in a friendly user environment for our end.
So you think we'll
That
get it
makes
before?
sense.
You think we'll get it before it goes to open beta?
We'll get a dumbed down version at the very beginning, and then they'll do the same thing that they've done with everything else. You had Cave Point 1, where we had surface caves, whole bunch of glitches with that, and then they gave us Cave Point 2, and now we're on Cave Point 3, where it's all underground, no surface caves, because they didn't want to disrupt the players on the surface. So they're going to do the same. My speculation is they're going to do the same with the dungeon mastering tools. They'll give us a very plain, simple, dumbed down version of here, try it out, see if it works, and tell us what we need to tweak. We've already been testing out the results of it. They're going to give us the actual interface for it.
Devlin?
Dungeon mastering stuff?
Yeah.
Well, to be completely frank about it, I'm not. I don't really care. I mean, do I think it's going to be coming in before open beta? Yeah, I kind of think it needs to come in before open beta. We are beta testers. We are here in a closed beta. We're in a limited environment where not everybody is coming in and doing a whole bunch of different stuff. If they give us something major like what dungeon mastering is supposed to be, and it's a free-to-play game at that point, there's going to be a lot more people trying a lot more different things that may or may not end up confusing more systems than what it really needs to. Right now, with everything semi-closed off the way it is, I think I agree with Loved that we need to get at least a very dumbed-down version before open beta. Maybe not the entire whole shebang, but at least a dumbed down version of it so we can at least tinker with it and see how it works. Like linking and triggering. How many different things we're supposed to get? How many linking and triggering tools? 7. We have only 1 right now, and that's just fine for what it is right now. I'd be okay with waiting for the other 6 until open beta. We know it works right now, and we're still working on the first one. Do something like that for dungeon mastering. Give us a little bit of it, make sure that part works, make sure we understand how it works, and then proceed onward from there.
I think if dungeon mastering system is dependent upon story bricks meeting some hurdles that they're trying to work through, I think we may not see it till open beta, but it would complete the game loop that we've been discussing for a year. So I hope we see, like Love said, a version 1.0 before this thing kicks off to open beta.
And when you talk about a Dungeon Master system, like a really simplistic version, that reminds me of their multiplayer game table system, right? Where you have, a couple 3 different game modes and then some settings that you can shift around. So if they set up I would imagine that would be their approach they would take, something simplistic, maybe integrate it into their new area tool or something. That would be definitely fun, cool, but I hope it's not as simplistic as the current arena system, because the PvP arenas in Landmark, just, they're just not that fun to play with right now. So, I feel like they have a little bit of work to do in that arena, just making it more fun, because at its core, they've said it over and over, it's supposed to be a game. And if people aren't having fun, then they're not going to stick around. So that's, I think, should be their number one priority going forward into open beta.
Is Danny from Coffee Tea PvP? Are you in the chat? I haven't seen him, but if you are, speak up. He tweeted Dave directly about this, and Dave's response was they made a few mods, but right now they're not focused on PvP, and it's not going to be getting much attention. And what they're going to do is they're going to focus on that stuff when they start working on EverQuest next. They'll start really working and refining the combat systems, and then they'll bring those things to us as they get them to different points and where they want it.
Well, that's good information for the PvP community out there. If they're not going to be, updating their system, or giving any love to it for a while, it might be more of a come back to it later when it's polished and they're done with it.
Yeah, all you got to do is go look for Coffee Tea PvP on Twitter, or look at Dave's Twitter replies, and you'll see that conversation there. It's something we were talking about yesterday and today is this whole idea of, man, give us a football or a basketball, or give us some kind of ball that we can throw around the players. That would be hot. I think that'd be easy to do. I really
would
don't-
love that.
I don't know what kind of coding that would require, but oh my god, that would be so much fun. And we can make our own games. I mean, real fun, silly games right here in Landmark.
Something else we were talking about is wait, nope, I lost it. Never mind, forget it.
We weren't
yes,
talking
I
about
agree.
it.
I have some feedback from Keb relating to all of Daybreak games. One of the things he was kind of hoping to see come into EverQuest Next was something similar to what they're doing with H1Z1 right now, where you log in and you have nothing. And you start out with nothing, and you have to go and build what your character gets. Like, if you want a bow, you got to go find the sticks. You got to take your shirt off and make the bow. He would like to see something like that happen with EverQuest Next. Don't just give us the stuff. Actually, for true storyline role play, you actually act out what you're doing. Why not bring that to Landmark and EverQuest Next?
Well, I tell you, one of the big draws, and everybody out there who is an EQ player, EQ 1 or 2 or whatever, the big draw that kept all the EQ players in EQ for all these years is that the game had a challenge, always had a challenge. It had complexity that you just didn't get from the other MMOs where they dumb things down for the masses. Man, EverQuest always had the challenge, and that's why I always saw so many people coming back. So I think you might be spot on there. I think making EverQuest Next something that's got a real challenge to it, I think will give it some stickiness. Besides all
It has to have that unobtainable goal in it. It has to have that one boss mob you just can't kill, or the mountain or whatever you can't climb, and to keep people coming back, because they're always, I mean, that's human nature, right? They want to complete stuff. And in EverQuest, that was a huge draw for me, having those kind of just epic, encounters and mobs.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys about that, and I do agree about that, but I'm not sure if what's the best way to put this. We were talking about this last night. I'm not sure that people in this particular generation of gaming are going to be accustomed to something like that. We all are accustomed to a huge challenge, something in a game that's just like what Cody said, just that unobtainable goal, something that is there. It's so easy. All we have to do is get to that part, but getting from point A to point B is a massive hurdle, and it's something that it's supposed to be. Nowadays, most video games out there simply don't have that kind of hurdle involved. I think a lot of that is because most players out there don't want that kind of hurdle. And I'm afraid they might rebel if we give them too much of a hurdle all at once.
They don't know what they want.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I'm just voicing my opinion here. That's all.
I think the way that they're going to try and address that is, at least for EverQuest Next, and they won't do it for Landmark, is because the way they want to handle the rally calls. Like for people who don't want an in-depth storyline, they just want that kind of instant achievement, but you still have risk to get it. That's where they would get that, so they could appeal to both crowds. With Landmark, I could see them not doing that. It would be more player-driven because, kind of like with the Nightlife Club, you had an idea, you put a call out, a bunch of friends said, yeah, hell yeah, we'll make this, and we all showed up, and we worked with you on it for, 3 months to get it to the point where it is now, where it's almost time to decorate. And we bounced ideas off of each other and stuff like that. That's more of how they would like to see Landmark run, where it's player-driven content, and if someone wants to make an actual full-fledged game in Landmark, Dave's hope way down the line, not now, but further down the line, is that the company can help them develop that game and support it.
I agree with that, but the number one problem I see when it comes to a game like this is that it's a niched game. I mean, it is. That's all there is to it. Why is it a niched game? Because it's like you said, it's a player-driven game. You can't play a game like this unless you have an idea first. You have to have some kind of project in here or something that you want to do. Most games, the point I was trying to make is that most games nowadays and most people out there who play them are consumer based. They just want to take the game, they want to play it, they want to experience it, they want to move on to the next thing. They don't want to actually invest in it, whether or not they know it or not. And I'm afraid that might end up backfiring on us one way or the other. That's all.
I would agree with that. It is a bit of a risk. The reason why, as you said, is most people are not self-directed. They need some sort of achievement or goal, and they're starting to bring those into game. Yes, they're very baby step. Even my kids can figure out.
But I love them. You see the little flash on the screen? Yeah, it's like, yeah, little happy dance.
But there's a lot of people that play Minecraft, and what is Minecraft that Landmark? What does it have that Landmark doesn't have?
All right, Cody,
that's my
I'm
question.
glad you brought that up because I wasn't going to. But now that the white elephant's in the room, I'm going to smack it.
It's huge.
Minecraft has something that Landmark does not, and that is, if you've played Minecraft, you know one thing: you can go knock out a whole bunch of you can modify the landscape at lightning speed, and you can rebuild it at lightning speed. And therein, that itself becomes a game in and of itself.
But it also has 2 modes. It has safe mode and survival mode, and it appeals to both. And we don't have that Landmark.
Well, creative mode. Let's be real. Imagine having every single material in unlimited quantities to go create and build. So. Will they do this in Landmark? Will they get some aspect of that type of playability? I think that would appeal to a huge audience, but I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. I'm guessing not. That's not going to happen. But I don't know. It's like with anything in life, you make a case for it. And the investment firm sees the business case for doing that. Then I don't know. Anything's possible.
Well, the case for Landmark in this case, whatever. Anyway, the case would be that, like what you were saying in Minecraft. I mean, yeah, you could go through and it's simple. It's lightning quick. There's big 3-foot by 3-foot blocks. Knock them out, put them back up. You stack them up, make a gigantic skull out of the deal. Whatever you want to do with it. But the return investment is that anybody that I played Minecraft for years, literally years, and the first thing that you start thinking of once you start making big things is that I wonder what a game in high definition like this would be like. Landmark is that game. Yeah. And that's what people just need to... We need to start waking people up to that. All of us. And that's what we do here. All of us do that with the building, everything that we're doing here. Something like anything that we all build could not be achieved on the scale that Minecraft has. It just couldn't.
Indeed.
And that is something else Jax just brought up, farming, fishing. That is something we currently are missing for the game loop, is some sort of hobby that doesn't involve either killing, mining, or crafting.
Well, Geo said, throwing, a sports something or another. I mean, Minecraft does have snowballs.
Yep.
I would love snowballs.
And they talked about... farming quite a really long time ago. It was on the blueprint, or it was called the roadmap at the time. And then they took it off and never saw it again. So I don't know. It seems like one of those features that just won't ever get onto that list by open beta.
Which feature?
Farming, or some kind of, continuous something that keeps you addicted to the game and keeps you in there, keeps you wanting to come back.
A passive hobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fishing. Or
well, they got fishing in EverQuest 1 and 2, so yeah,
they might reverse engineer that in.
I think it'd be fun. We got lots of water. Not necessarily where we want it yet, but I'm convinced it's going to come. I heard you mention something last night that struck me, and that is one of the things that might be holding up, that you speculate might be holding up dynamic water coming into the game is their challenge that they're having, trying to make it look as amazing as the oceans. Was that your comment? I heard that from somebody, but
who are you pointing at?
Cody and
definitely would love to see what they come up with the water. It's been on their list for the entire time, and what it sounded like to me was they were kind of pointing over at Voxel Farm and what they're doing and saying, we're kind of waiting for the technology to come, or, whatever process there is or delay between the creation over there and the implementation into Landmark. I think that's kind of what the holdup is, as far as I understand it, and we'll see how it looks. And yeah, they did set that bar high with the with the ocean water, because it looks freaking incredible. So I hope it looks that good.
It's the best water I've seen in any game I've ever played.
The waterfall emitters too. I mean, those are really high quality particle effects.
One thing they did not talk about today on the show, but is ever present in my mind, everybody knows, the Voxel Forge. And I think if when they can roll this thing out, and Dave's teased us about this on Twitter and on the forums, I think he's teased us about this. When this rolls out, and he says it's only a couple of months away, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
well, the first phase of that they're introducing in the update today, which is the ability to turn your templates into recipes and pass them around.
And that's why I brought it up. So I think what we're going to see is a lot of the props that we're all really hungry for, I think, are going to start getting player made. I think we're going to see the community fulfilling its own wishes and needs like we've never seen before, at least not in Landmark.
Now, to derail the conversation here slightly, back to the previous subject here, Manathos just had a fantastic idea that I had not yet thought of. Similar to Minecraft, what would we feel about building gateways to different elemental planes in Landmark? Maybe not elemental planes, but we all are travelers from different universes. What about being able to go back to our home universes? Different planes of existence. Yeah, no, but I mean, just as a loose concept idea, being able to portal from one plane.
I would love that. I would almost foresee that happening, or I would hope to see that, because they did speak about having a traveler class in EverQuest Next, or some kind of reference to your Landmark character. They did mention that at some point. They haven't really talked about it recently, but so maybe there is some crossover there, where maybe if you have an EverQuest Next character in Landmark, you get that armor that you've achieved and you can show it off, or something like that would be really cool.
That's cool, being able to like literally just use the same character and be able to like hop from universe to universe from EverQuest.
But not, I guess you couldn't take your Landmark, sci-fi guy with a machine gun into EverQuest.
No, but I mean, take within a certain limitation, but be able to take one person and be able to hop from one game to another and still have some kind of carryover. That would be really cool.
Well, but today it happened on live TV. We got transported to another universe altogether at that club. Look at this background image. I couldn't believe this is Landmark.
Awesome.
Devlin, we thought this is the coolest thing I've seen in the game since it started.
Well, it's not just, it was everybody, man.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I agree with Might Hammer, multi-game character. I was trying to load up EQ2 last night because I wanted to take a look. I think it finished downloading this morning, and it's not my end. I've got ultra high speed, so but it frustrated me that I've got a character in H1Z1, I've got one in DCUO, I've got one in what's the other one? I don't want to click it. There we go. Dragon Prophet. I've got one in Landmark, and I'm going to have one in EQ next. Why can't you give us a launcher that just goes, which game do you want to play? What character are you playing? And it's all in one spot. And I don't have to make multiple station accounts. I don't have to worry about multiple characters. Tie them all together. Because if I want to play all these games from one company, why can't I do that?
All right. For everybody out there who doesn't already know, Love's brain is powered by three, count them, 3 cold fusion reactors.
I'm not the only one.
But that is brilliant, though, Love. Really, that is.
It ties into what Might Hammer was saying, and what Devlin was saying. have it so that if you create a character in any of the other universes other than Landmark, you could import that character and their stats and everything else into Landmark and then take them back out. But you might have to have like 4 or 5 characters in Landmark. That's the only way I could see that working at the moment.
Well, we've seen global avatars in like Xbox where you have your little avatar guy and he can go to the sports game or the whatever game. So we've seen it in other games having a global
In the
avatar.
consoles.
So yeah, in the consoles. So hey, I would love to see that. That would be really cool. And it seems like most of their games are humanoid character models, so they would be applicable pretty much across the board as far as I would think. Yeah.
If they restricted it to humanoid.
Right. It would have to be restricted to human, so.
But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail from the Voxel Forge conversation, but that was just a really fantastic idea.
Love it. Thanks. And no worries, man. Go ahead, Cody. Go ahead.
One thing that kind of got pushed off the blueprint was the SOE moat, and that's another great question. What are they going to call an SOE moat now, right? We got to think about that stuff.
I believe SOE Moat was being developed by a partnership with another company. Whether they continue that partnership or not, I don't know. They haven't said anything one way or another.
All right.
I'm hoping they do continue it because from what they had shown us and what people have actually done in EQ2 with it is really cool. It would be nice to be... Like, I've never enjoyed the idea of Kinects in my house. I've never allowed it. But if it's just a webcam and it's just your face, that I can handle. Full body, full scan of my house, not a chance.
Yeah, NSA's watching.
Oh, they're always
And hello to our friends over there. Indeed,
thanks for upping our view count. You rock.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Oh well, everybody, look, gotta wrap up here soon, but wanted to go around and see if you guys had any last thoughts you wanted to share from today's shows or what's happening out there in our Landmark community. Devlin, would you?
No, I am letting either the new person or Cody go first.
All right.
No.
Cody, you're up, man.
All right. Yeah. I mean, as far as Landmark Live, I thought it was a good show. I would have liked to see more textures. We got, 16? We were talking about it before the show. That's kind of limited. And specifically, I want to see more of those green hatched textures for the roofs. That's going to help us a lot in kind of breaking up the roofs from being a huge flat plane. They mentioned that you want to have your windows really small, definitely smaller than your doors, in the teardrop shape, and stone, possibly, that creeps up all the way to the 2nd or 3rd story with plaster above it, and then a small amount of woodwork also incorporated in the builds. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Cody. Loved. Any last thoughts?
Looking back from a year ago when I first jumped into Landmark on my husband's tune, coming all the way to today, I'm really excited about where it's going overall. Like, I remember when we first started looking for Ruby and all that, all the mats and whatnot, and it was difficult to find. It was the graphics were old. I was kind of, is this the game I want to play? And then they started upgrading and changing everything, and the speed hasn't stopped. It makes me excited to see where they're taking this and where we'll be in a year from now. And those are my thoughts.
Me too. Darren.
Well, one of the other things that they mentioned on the show is that they have taken pity on us and they've changed what it takes to make plastic. So now we can do that at the basic crafting table as well now. So thank you, Raptor Jesus. Anyway, the only thing I would really sum up with everything is the same thing that I always say. This is a absolutely fantastic game. I am wholly invested in this game, like I have not been in anything else before. And I want to see this be its own thing. I want to see it succeed in the absolute best possible way. That's all there is to it. And like what Love said, it's been going full bore. I mean, I've been here for 8 months now, and it has been going full bore. It has not stopped at all, one bit, and I do not want it to at all. Go team.
Indeed. It's the most amazing game I've ever played. I'm a huge EverQuest franchise fan. Big. But Landmark has just kind of captured my imagination like no other game I've ever played. So that's it. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. It was a special schedule, special show. We don't know if we'll make this a regular or not. But real quick, Cody has got Landmark Weekly coming up next week, or are you doing...
Yeah, next week, Wednesday, normal time, and then Saturday we have a community keynotes build, so tune in for that. It's going to be all morning long. Anyone can come participate, build right alongside us. We have a Nanovoxel community member who sketched up what we're going to be building, so we're all going off that sketch. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to experiment with different roof types, tiles versus the smooth roof, so tune into that. Should be fun.
Excellent. Loved is going to have a new show on our channel. What days are you going to be broadcasting?
Hopefully we can get the schedule set that I'm broadcasting after you in the mornings. Monday, Tuesdays, and Saturdays are a little up in the air at the moment. We just got to figure out which show I'm going to be hosting.
Great.
Either mine or with Metallical for his monster builds.
Cool. Excellent. That is going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to it, and welcome.
I participated in the monster build, and I'm looking forward to the comeback of the monster build.
That's going to be cool.
Cool.
And Devlin, man, nightlife? What's happening?
Nightlife is always going on. I'm not going to lie. Tonight may not happen. Like I said, I've been up for well over 48 hours at this point, so it may become a thing where I go and lay my head down, and you guys don't see me until like Monday. So keep an eye on my Twitter, everybody out there. But yes, indeed, Landmark Nightlife appears on Landmark Explorer. This channel here on Twitch, we are on Landmark Explorer, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, fantastic. It appears here every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we get together, we build, we talk about what's going on in the game, we do a little bit of touring, we do everything that there is to do in Landmark, we hang out, we teach, we do everything we can.
It was fun, man.
We
Enjoy
try to
your
make
show.
you laugh.
Yeah. And get out. Wow. Can you just, this picture that I've got in the background of our set here, can you just tell everybody what the heck that is?
Absolutely, yes. It was there was you, I, Bob Dobb,
Katina.
Metallical, Katina,
Gabriel.
Pantera was there, Firefly was there. Everybody who appears regularly on the Nightlife show was just hanging out over by the club, and we started stacking emitters together all around.
Yeah, Pantera put them down on the ground, and we were laughing at the sizes and just messing around with them because we hadn't seen a lot of them. So I grabbed the yellow one and stuck it in the blue one, and then everyone's like, hey, that looks cool, and then everyone started just piling in more until we got to the point where it was kind of hilarious, and we started standing in the middle of it.
And then Bob Dobbs said the magic word chandelier, and I'm like, okay, give me all of them. Give me all of them. Give me all of them right now. And I stuck them all up on a voxel upside down, made sure all the sizes were correct, and now we have a fantastic chandelier in the club.
If you haven't seen it yet, if you didn't catch the show today, you have got to go over to the club on Rebellion Tour. It's not far from the hub there. Go check it out. You're going to be amazed. It's cool stuff.
And if you were looking for it, you won't find it in the gallery. However, if you look up Nightlife lawn darts, it is within walking distance.
You know what? I will go tag it right now. I will tag it right after this. I'll tag it. So, guys, just search for Nightlife, one word, and you should be able to find it there.
Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. It was a lot of fun. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in game. And go out there and build something. We'll come take a look. Cheers, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone.